who's on the server today. I think everyone's in, so I think we're okay this time. So I'm expecting to see a good performance from them today.
Yes, indeed, and we are straight into the action, so that is quite nice by my standards. No waiting around here, and indeed, the Ancient getting kicked off. Kind of an interesting start from Rare Atom. They go charging down middle, looking to get the wrap in behind the B hit, which would indeed be the correct call. So 5 CTs here, really, really fast. Bomb's only just gone down. First head rolls. This could be very dangerous indeed. I think the T's are now corralled in, a little bit trapped for sure. They found a gap in cave, but the kills are just coming thick and fast for Rare Atom at the moment. Defuse coming in. They will defend it well, and a really, really clean pistol there from the CT side. Yeah,
great recovery. And yeah, I'm not. Listen, if you look at the scoreboard from yesterday, right, in their game against Chinggis Warriors, you'd be wondering, you know, how on earth did they lose? Because every single Chinggis Warriors player is either negative or even when it comes to their KD, and 4 out of the 5 on Rare Atom have got positive KD. That's because they won their map of Inferno 13-4, and Chinggis Warriors won 13-11, 13-5 themselves. And actually, their coach, as I said, Z8Z or Z8Z. Z8Z, I would imagine saying Z rolls off the tongue better than Z, even as a British person saying his alias. But he played quite well even. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation right now. And the pace being used by FengDa in this following second round, by the way, is catching Rare Atom off guard. I'll get back to my other point in a moment, because the bomb is going to be attempted to be planted. Thankfully, somebody's in a good position to do more damage. He will get 1, make that 2 more. And they should be able to trade their way back in, and they will do exactly that. So no risk with that force buy, so they should get their 3-0 start.
Yeah, we got some serious problems on the FengDa side of things. I'm not going to lie. You know, we were talking about names yesterday. It's always good fun. Team that I'm kind of aware of, but not one that I've had chance to cast. And now that I'm here, we have 2 problems. One, there's a lot of numbers in these names. I don't rightly know what's going down. You know, P5P... Leet X9, maybe. Yeah, kind of interesting. But also, we have the other problem as a commentator, which is when, you know, we're on the sort of more publicly used servers, you know what I mean, the ESEA servers and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
They don't have their actual names.
Exactly.
There's a guy called Nertz in here. Now, I know for a fact it's not Nertz, unless he's, you know, on holiday and having some kind of sabbatical over here, just playing in Asia ECL, but his name is Nertz, and that's very confusing. I also have no clue who that could be on the team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a couple of names here that just don't quite add up, so...
Yeah, I'll be completely honest with you. I'd have to dig a little bit deeper to their Faceit pages, exactly. And that's a little bit hard to do, hard to find sometimes, so... Yeah, it's awkward for sure. I maybe as the game goes on, I'll try and dig into it a little bit deeper and try and get my brain into action about who these players actually are, individual by individual. But we'll see either way. One thing that I think it's very easy to deduce, Harvey, is the fact that Dangerous on Rare Atom is Child King. So there's that at least.
It does help when, you know, you maybe have one guy. It could be an old alias from like 2012, you know what I mean? Like, fair enough, you've just not changed it. I think it might cost money to change your name past a certain point, or you just don't want to forget about it, you know what I mean? But we are into a proper rifle round here, so let's focus in on this. Very chaotic once again. It's so far been a really, really quick game of Counter-Strike. Rush after rush, looking good at the moment for Rare Atom. I think this is maybe going to be the case. If you're playing the individual game, the Rare Atom guys are up there with the best of them, to be honest. And, you know, players like Kaze, Summer, Child King, you know, they've been around that kind of level for a long time now as well. So maybe not the strat that's going to work for you, the thick and fast aim-based Counter-Strike.
Okay, so I'll be able to try and deduce a few things here, right? So Chen King is Chen King. That's obvious. Yep. We've got one there, thankfully. Obviously, PSP, P5P is P5P. We've got that one right. I can tell you that 3GL is 3GL XD. And I can tell you that I believe Leet X9 is Nertz on the server. So he is Leet X9. So just keep that in your brain. Nertz is Leet X9. Yes, I've never said those words in my life before, but here we are.
Yeah. Okay. That helps. That
Thank
does
you.
indeed help. And,
I mean, you're
you know,
welcome. Sorry.
You're
There
a
we
little
go.
bit of a better detective than I am, I think, when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, fair enough. We'll see whether, you know, we'll be saying those names and having to work it. At the moment in this round, once again, it looks like things have gone south. Bomb's been dropped. That makes them very predictable. Nice little elbow flash there. Somebody can't quite capitalize, but you feel he's gathered the info. He's done enough damage that he should be able to sit back, relax, and let his teammates pick this one up.
Yeah, it's a very expected start from Ratum so far, and as I say, one they really do need. And you rightly pointed out, right, that they've been kind of cleaning up domestic opposition, whether it's been on LAN or on online. All domestic opposition other than Tyloo and LinVision, right? Because those were the two real important games for them to qualify for another major. Against Tyloo and LinVision in that China regional qualifier. Opening game against LinVision, they kind of got farmed, has to be said, 13-7, 13-10. Then they played Tyloo a couple of days later, obviously. And it was a bit of a closer game. They did go to overtime on map 1, but Tyloo took it 16-12, 13-7. And yeah, overall, this team started to fall behind the rest. And you could argue maybe it was a matter of time, Scriv, because of, you know, they've got some great players here, ones that have had a revitalization at the end of their careers here with making the Shanghai Major, of course, a representative. The amount of support they got there was unbelievable. But, you know, Summer and Kaze, I love Kaze. I think he's still got something about him. And sure, Summer and somebody do as well. But that core has been around for a very, very long time, those three players individually. And at some point, you are going to get overtaken.
Yes, it is very true. It is very true. And I think for a few players, this team felt maybe like the old Last Dance. We love overusing that term, but
yeah,
you know, opportunity came their way. Good crop of players could potentially find themselves at a major or two. And, you know, it's unfortunate they don't make it to Austin. It's a bit of a rough one, you know what I mean? Not too many games to play. Yes, 2 spots available is kind of nice, but you really could not afford to make any mistakes in the closed qualifier there. So, yeah, bit of a rough showing from them, of course, in the end. But they'll be back, a few of them. I think there's a couple of players in here that might start to call it a day or just, you know, play with their friends. Not really focus on the international Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Really, really chaotic game here. We don't have a lot of time to talk over the niceties, to be honest. You know, these rounds are finishing in like a minute. Rare Atom just sort of running rings around their opponents at the minute, to be honest with you.
Just getting control very early on every single round, right? I mean, sure, Child King's gifted that one there, but that round was already comfortable since then. And yeah, just getting destroyed with the lane control that Rare Atom are pushing in toward. Obviously, as we said, it's a lower bracket matchup coming in here. I can tell you that FengDa, to get to this position, just as a reminder, had to beat Just Swing. And that's actually a team that I believe Rare Atom did play in that qualifier in Yangcheng that we've spoken about. Here's an opening, though. Li Hang will go down to Letex9, yes, the man masquerading as Nerds. Clearly he's a big fan. And somebody needs to step up. Bit of a whiffy one on the first, but manages to get away with 2. That's absolutely fine until Summer goes down to PSP, and that's a beautiful second on Kaze. They've managed to crack one open finally.
Oh, clean shot. 1 versus 3 overall going to be required here, of course. So Child King, once one of the hotter prospects, I think, you know, in that 22, 23 kind of season, there were a lot of names being watched within Chinese Counter-Strike that were on the come-up. Starry being another. A lot of the Rare Atom players at the time, to be fair.
Yeah.
Who are now, of course, towards Tyloo. And I think Child King was in that conversation, but not going to live up to that hype in this particular clutch.
Yeah, somebody did actually quite well to get away with 2 in the end, considering he was not exactly hitting the clean headshots, but it was the second shot from Mr. PSP, goated handheld, not that I ever had one, to be able to recover that, second kill in particular.
It was pretty good. PSP was pretty... I also... My brother had one. I was more of a DS guy.
Same here.
But the PSP, you could play movies.
Yeah, that's
So
crazy,
it's like a
right?
multimedia, you know, kind of thing, which at that sort of size, yeah, is pretty crazy.
And in that sort of era, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But then, I don't know, they just kind of disappeared, didn't they, really?
Yeah,
The old, they did the 3DS, which was an interesting concept.
I have one. I liked it.
Yeah. Again, I think I don't know, did you use the 3D on them a lot, or did you just use it
Yeah,
as a...
when I had the opportunity. I think it obviously was a little bit of a gimmick, but I think it worked in certain scenarios. In time, it would hurt your eyes a bit, I feel like, even though it was, you know, not proven as such. It depends what kind of person you are, how strong your eyes are. But yeah, I used both. I used it off and I used it on.
Okay.
And I still have it in a drawer in my bedroom. Leet X9 will push forward with his teammates to take control of mid. Actually, quite significant control here. Someone will let them have it for now, playing it back in Red Room. Not able to get 2, though.
No, not quite good enough. Oh, 3G was in the right place, but unfortunately it doesn't work out. It's Child King with the advancement in towards B lane that pretty much has sealed the deal here. 4 versus 3, always going to be recoverable, but into the 1-on-4, not so much. They also have a pretty good idea of where he's at. No more presence towards mid. The only area that they've not got solid control of is this kind of back T area. As you can see, though, a main push coming in starts to confirm that location a bit more. So I think Child King is going to be ready. He's been spotted, but he still wins the fight nonetheless. A 7th round in, and Rare Atom, you know, they'll take the one lost round on the chin and just keep on winning.
Yeah, hit straight back. No hesitation there. Don't mind the call from FengDa, like they're taking mid control as they did early round. That is probably the way you want to go about it when you're in this sort of position as a significant underdog.
We'll see if there's a change-up that comes in. I think FengDa haven't really found the method. You know, the round win comes off the back of an early, quick A play, and once again, that's kind of something that they're going for. Everything has to happen in the first 30 seconds for this team. The boost up to try and get that early pickup, not going to work out. Yeah, Child King's got the angle. Oh, that is disgusting. The ancient wallbangs, famous or infamous for a reason, and he will come away with 2. So again, Mr. Child King nets the round himself.
Isn't it funny how you say famous, but when you say infamous, it's pronounced that way?
Yeah, it is. It is a little interesting.
English language, bro.
I don't know if it's just because, like, you know, it's part of the word, or it just rolls a bit better.
Yeah.
There's a few that are interesting though. I feel like Americans say infamous. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Nah, I'm not sure.
But there's, you know, like momentarily.
Yeah.
Apparently, you meant to say that momentarily in
Really?
like, yeah, in British English.
That's
but that's like
interesting.
an American. But we've all picked it up because it's just so much easier to say, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, good point.
So
I mean, there's many famous ones, right, between America and the UK, like aluminum and aluminium is probably the most spoken about one. Hang on a second, by the way. This round's on, actually. They've recovered it really well. Rare Atom have been a little bit lazy with this one, but they should still be okay because Kaze is in position. You can always trust in Mr. Kaze. How many years has he been a reliable factor for teams he's been on over the years? And I think, honestly, as we see this lineup again, by the way, oh, it's dirty. It's a headshot on the second one as well, just to add the extra damage to boot. But yeah, I think if there's one player who I think could still have something to talk about in the scene as a whole, right, for Rare Atom. I know they've been on a bad form lately, but it can be recovered. I do think Kaze has got some legs to his career because I just think, like, in the role that he plays, I think he's smart, and there's not really many of them that I feel like can play that role the way he does in the region.
no, it's very true. I think, you know, I'm just sort of looking back over the years, and you know, he's had some very, very, very solid years. It's only in maybe the past couple that he's gotten a bit closer to the 1.0 rating, if that makes sense, rather than like a 1.2 seems to be kind of his average. But I think he's taking up a role as, you know, more of a mentor kind of player. And it's AWPing in CS2 as well. Maybe he just feels he can't quite have the same sort of impact. But yeah, as you speak about, from a reliability perspective, he certainly feels like one of the best players in the region. And for a long time as well, has felt like a much more structured player than the region usually goes with, if that makes sense. Like, you know, 2018, 2019, they're crazy. They're just running at people, playing super aggressive. But Kaze has always seemed to have a bit of that discipline in him.
Yeah, I think you need that balance in a team, right? It's it's absolutely fine to have players who are willing to play super aggressive like that, but you need to have one guy who's willing to sit back and push at the right time rather than the wrong time. This round's getting a little bit difficult though, because these digs are hitting. He's going to have to be Child King to recover this one. Again, playing on the front foot because he's worried about that cave push coming through. He's got a teammate next to him though, so he can focus on the ramp area. But now actually it's getting pretty awkward. We've got an AK picked up, but thankfully for somebody, he manages to push forward and get himself in position before that AK can be drawn properly. A close attempt for FengDa on that round. That was pretty decent considering the weaponry they had. Dirty one digs were hit, but Rare Atom keep themselves trucking.
Looking very, very, very good here for Rare Atom. I think the 9 rounds puts you in that position of just winnership, really. Not too much more work going to be cut out for them in the second half. They can make it even easier, of course, as they've still got a couple that could be won. Back to their regular ways here on the FengDa side of things, and Summer seem very aware of that. Cheeky little flash over the top. They are struggling to get into the site here. Bought time for the rotations there, have Rare Atom, and now it's Lee Han getting a little bit involved with the individual moments. So we'll see what's up here. 1 versus 3 required, firmly spotted out. We'll be able to get this bomb plant in, opting to go for a fake, and it does work out. Tried to go around with some unsuccessful flashes. Somebody is nowhere near to find this trade, so it's straight into the 1 versus 1 now.
It's very doable as well, because somebody actually picked up an AWP in this round. So it's going to be awkward on the retake. Sure, that P250 one headshot would get the kill on a 76 health player, and I don't think he's expecting the flank just yet. We'll look at it now, but somebody's ready. Nice try from FengDa to recover that one, but somebody once again is in the right place at the right time. We'll pick up the round with that 1v1 victory. Up to 10-3 now for himself. Good attempt, but it's not to be. And actually the utility going on toward B there was pretty decently chained, I suppose. So you try and get as much flash work in as possible, but the firework display of flashes in the end couldn't translate into their second round. And they'd love to end off this half. And so would 3GL, unfortunately, because he's 0-11. I didn't want to say anything, but I've got to.
Oh, someone's burning. Down goes Nerds. RIP. He's fallen off since he joined Liquid, I suppose. Alright, that was a bit harsh, actually. That's a bit harsh. I'll leave it out for now. I'll leave it out, but it's still, every time I look at it, confuses me. Leet X9. Yeah, it doesn't start the round very well, and the rest of the team set to join him, to be honest. PSP, our boy, trying to win this one out. Not going to happen. It is just, complete decimation of FengDa by Rare Atom. We've got a second half. I can guarantee it's not going to be all that long, though. We'll see you there.
The better team is looking like the better team. And, well, that's what you pay us the big bucks for. 11-1, Rare Atom. They're looking comfortable, as they so should in a game like this, to try and increase their chances of getting that one spot in Pro League through this lower bracket gauntlet. It's a long way to go, but this is step one for them. This is a nice hold from FengDa on the CT pistol. There could be some legs in this game yet. King needs to respond. Only gets one. Kaze trying to help out too. And there's the aggression. Even on 7 HP. Pushes forward. Instant headshot. Now this quick rotation from behind is going to take a little bit longer to do any damage.
Dangerous position here. The Julies are what you want to keep your eye on. Nice little smoke gets Kaze out of action completely. Clean clear, but Lihang faster than you'd expect. Oh my goodness, King, it's close, it's difficult, but he will just get it in, and that 7 HP, you know, makes all the difference from Kaze. Still a fair recovery in the round from Rare Atom. They get the bomb plant. No chance of, you know, players saving bits of armor, bits of money, etc. So they will be right back on these guys for sure. All the same, a little bit of something for FengDa to work with. Yeah,
it was a squeak for sure. But of course, with the plant now, Rare Atom are going to go for some kind of force buy, and there you go. So they're going to pull out the Mac 10s, the Tech 9s, actually 3 Mac 10s here to prioritize a bit more utility, not a single Galil, which you'd maybe sometimes see a team prioritize. Making sure they've got all the util required on this occasion. Something for FengDa to shout about, but how long will it last when you've got 5 Rare Atom players running your way? It's a split toward A, actually. The Hang will get the opening, and that is the biggest issue because now PSP is so stuck on long. He's done amazing work to get 2. That's stunning. He shouldn't have been allowed to grab that. And the damage toward Lihang is significant as well.
Yeah, big difference here. Oh, King doesn't really know whether to push or not. The HP makes all the difference there. He nearly goes down. Has enough been done by the big man PSP? Answer is no. Mac 10 double spray down. Now we're on 3G. Lihang coming in from behind, been waiting for this opportunity, and goodness, that is a really tough one, I think, for FengDa to lose. Yes, within the context of where it's at, but actually so very close, and just one overlooked angle, makes all of the difference.
They overlooked the angle and the ankles, I think it's fair to say.
Well, I think so, yes. He's certainly broken some ankles.
He's been shooting at some ankles there, that's for sure, trying to allow for the recoil of the Mac 10. And yeah, it's an immediate hit back. They're going to try and end this game ASAP. Reminder, of course, this is the map that has been picked by FengDa, so it's not looking too good for them in that sense. But don't forget, of course, as well, we're in a situation where map 2 being Mirage, that's one of Rare Atom's sort of comforts. So we should be in a position where they get this one done in 2 as a favourite team. But what I want to see from FengDa on map 2 and the end of map 1, if we're so lucky, just some, I think especially in map 2, just some cohesion with some of their decision making and their plays, right? Because sometimes it's very hard to get that when you are a lower ranked team. I'm sure they're going to have something on Mirage because they do have a pretty good record actually on the map, a similarly good record to Rare Atom. So we'll see.
Oh, unfortunate there. Dink lands, no frag. Will be one here. Dropping the bomb actually. Traded quickly, but decent amount of information picked up. We'll see. PSP back to his A main creeping ways. Oh, he seems savvy to it. Bomb going to go down, and it's all a waiting game really for this A main player. He has played it very, very slowly indeed. Leak goes down towards middle. PSP is here, but, you know, surely, yeah, just not enough help for him to really get anything done. Trades galore from Rare Atom, and they will get it finished 13-2, which is kind of crazy, to be honest with you. I mean, yes, I expected Rare Atom to be the favorite here, but
Rare Atom found a way to win. It was absolutely ridiculous. So they really got on the map domestically and internationally. And FengDa actually, domestically, unlike against on some of the maps in their pool, are looking really good on Mirage. They've actually won 7 out of their 8, including beating Tyloo 13-10, which is clearly very impressive. That was just over a month ago. But also, they have played Rare Atom on the map before and lost 13-6. So it's a question of whether Rare Atom can remember what went right last time around, or maybe what FengDa can do differently.
Well, we are into the map here, of course. Rare Atom started off on that T side, so see what they have in store, what they got cooking. It looks like a pretty simple B play here. Contact B with the nades, really. Which PSP is somewhat ready for. If you had Julies, I'd be confident. On the USP, it's tough when they're all coming at you. It can be very dangerous. He's actually going to go into the Lion's Den here and loses his head for it. They were ready for that as well, you know, playing things patiently to see if anything came their way. And it did. Andy was also solo B, so maybe not the best move in the world. Nice find from 3G. Brings it back into a 4 versus 4, but only briefly. Chen King very, very low here. So all of a sudden, it looks a hell of a lot worse. Just down to Leet X9, seemingly known as Nerds today. But he's got a 1 versus 4 to get through, of course, and it's not going to happen. So Rare Atom winning out that pistol. No real sweats for them in that round.
No, not at all. And yeah, that's the one thing that you brought up that I think is an obvious question mark, is why are you pushing apartments when you're solo? If you've got maybe 2 players on site, for example, to be in unexpected positions or a crossfire, that could catch off. That could have caught off Rare Atom, but in this scenario, I'm afraid it's just a bit of a solo push. And it looks a little bit silly. They're now on a full eco. Of course, Rare Atom will be able to double their score early game. And here comes the push. They're going to be streaking together. Goodness me. That is so many fights going down. And they're actually losing the round for a split second there. It was a 3v2 for a moment in that one. But then, of course, Kaze and Summer managed to recover it.
Yeah, looking a little dicey, but as you say, they are able to get it back. Rare Atom's buy, therefore, is going to be lacking in this round. Got the Galil, got the Scout. I think Kaze maybe didn't necessarily have to sacrifice down to the Scout, but he fancies a scope. He decides against it in the end, so there you go. AK going to come through. Not the worst in the world. They lack a bit of utility. They've got that one Galil, sticks out like a sore thumb. They are going to try and work within their confines in this round. Really clean and quick trade there against the AWP in window. Li Hang is left pretty low. I think the AWP tagged him. So, yeah, that's unfortunate for him. But pretty good for FengDa if they can do something with it.
Somebody
Shadow?
in ladder room already. Yep. And yeah, he has got the information. Or has he? Oh, it's really awkward. 3G, I thought for a second would have been able to readjust, but got the frag in the end. Thankfully, Chen King has recovered on toward Child King, and now with the Battle of the Kings going that way, there's a chance to get back into this one. Somebody's putting pressure onto a PSP. I think he knows he's got him locked in toward Market or on the close left. Seen him. Good right-click flash, but a great recovery from PSP on that angle. Good work coming up towards short now, pushing together as a duo are Kaze and Li Hang, and PSP does exactly the right thing. Realizes that he's seen the last 2 players, doesn't push until it's absolutely necessary. He was forced to peek there by the Molotov. Might have to be Kaze in this 2v2 here as Li Hang is low.
No one spotted on the flash. Chen King playing the patient game. So it does leave the T's guessing here. Li Hang is this first line. It's a good find from him, but he doesn't quite have the HP to keep it up for the next fight. However, Kaze has the angle before Li even gets there. Very, very close, but another one clutch situation, another tight situation going their way. And maybe as you were speaking about coming into this map, that seems to be what they enjoy on the Rare Atom side when it comes to Mirage, is going for those closer, clutchier kind of rounds.
Yeah, that game versus VP was one to behold, actually. I can kind of picture, like, or still in my mind, some of the rounds that went down as well. I think there was one on A site which was a ridiculous clutch from Kaze, if I remember correctly. I can't remember exactly how it played out, but it's vague memories. And it's a great flash assist in mid there as well for Child King to get 3 kills with the MAC-10, charging his way up. Swaps to the mini upgrade of the MP9. PSP is gifted an AK and is looking for something crazy here. I have seen 1v5s in this league in the past if you're not overly careful, so you do need to take this with due care and attention here.
Looking for the sneak play. Not going to get it, as Child King was watching him. So, Rare Atom looking a little better in this round, starting to streak ahead once again, playing some very quick Counter-Strike. Really, really similar to the start of Ancient, to be honest, which is not a good sign for FengDa, as they are on the end of the exact same treatment. And this could go even further. We got another rifle buy coming in from FengDa. For my money, I think you've got to get this on the board. Even if it is just one isolated by itself, we'd usually say that's not really a good thing, but I think they just need to convince themselves that they can win rounds before it gets to a dangerous spot, of course.
Just a quick confirmation. Actually, no, I'll give it a second. I'll speak about that in the next round because we've got some duels coming through here. Kaze managed to catch Chen King before he was able to retreat up underpass back into middle. And somebody once again is looking to try and duel on the B-bomb site, and he's won his fight against PSP. They try and push through with the AWP to try and catch one back, but it's not going to happen. And Leet X9 is a long way away. So I'll mention what I was going to say. Of course, originally on the broadcast today, we were meant to do Lin Vision's game in the upper bracket versus the Huns. We covered the Huns yesterday, talking about how they made their way through. Two-face Lin Vision in that all-important game for them, but unfortunately there's been I think a lot of delays in their tournament they're playing in Mongolia for the Mesa Nomadic Masters, so they couldn't play that one. They had to play that one and couldn't play the game in the playoffs here, so they've had to forfeit, which means Lin Vision are through to the next round in the playoffs, waiting for the winner of Tyloo versus Chinggis Warriors, which is going down right now on the A stream. And it means that the Huns will drop down to the lower bracket, and if they've got time, they will be playing the winner of this one, likely Rare Atom, in a few days' time.
Well, there you go. There you go. Good to sort of keep up and know what's going on. But yeah, I think you do mention it. It's maybe one of those cases where not necessarily double booked themselves. They've just gotten kind of unlucky. Yeah. But in the same vein, I'm pretty sure like the likes, maybe there's a different reason to be fair, but the likes of Tyloo dropped out of the Nomadic Masters as not to risk it and, you know, get the time to focus on this. So at times, you kind of do have to sacrifice a bit. But again, this is the VRS world in which we live, right? There's a good chance that the Huns could place well, especially because there's like 4 Asia region teams there. They might just be able to get the better of those teams, and that would be a really significant boost to their VRS. Quick round towards A here, Trav. Chen King wins his fight, left very low. I mean, look at Rare Atom. It's ridiculous, isn't it? One well-placed nade is going to eliminate 2 players, so they have to be very careful.
Unfortunately, that hasn't been able to come through, and Chen King on 1 HP. They're suddenly going to want to look, but there's no kit, which is the biggest issue, and we haven't even got armor on one player coming in here either, of course, considering it's a bit of an eco. So we should probably be falling back and saving, and they are going to commit to that in the end. The USP can afford... I was going to say the USP can afford to go looking for something, but Child King just says, okay, well, fade away on the retreat. I'm going to take my couple of bullets and take a kill. Li Hang and Summer do end up surviving as well, and it's 6-0 for the favourites.
So ridiculous. Honestly, those are one of the things that I think really separate, you know, us from them, are like the cleanliness of those sprays and the smoke kills and knowing the angles and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's really an art form unto itself, and deservedly so, netting Rare Atom even more control of this game. seems we are back in that cycle of just pure domination from Rare Atom here. Maybe FengDa again with a good buy. No excuses there. Double AWP this time. Perhaps this is the round that they turn things a little for the better.
Like the fact they're changing it up with a double AWP. Might as well try and make something happen, right? As I said, it's a map where they do actually have good results on over the course of the regular season against more domestic opposition. Have managed to take one against Tyloo on the map. That's no mean feat. Even though Tyloo are famously up and down, Chen King actually gives that one a look in mid to see what he can see while that Molotov is in position. Gets some info and then falls back away again. And there is the opening. Kaze will drop.
Okay. Keep your eyes on this. I mean, this is where the double AWP setup really finds success, is getting those early picks, you know, making the bomb take ever difficult. Couple more seconds here. This smoke's going to go down. Chen King not paying any attention to the potential of that at all. Somebody does get traded instantly, so not really able to do too much with that kill, with that spot. And it is the double AWPs here that are doing all of the work. Li Hang holding for a lurking presence. He will get his, but unfortunately the rest of the team has not really delivered. He's left on 18 HP with 7 seconds. It's absolutely going to be a safe. He's got plenty of cash, to be fair, so, you know, it doesn't affect his personal econ all that much. But double AWPs gets FengDa their first round.
There you go. Change up works beautifully. Exactly what I would have wanted to see. The frag that we really managed to get back into the round with was the one in window, and that didn't keep them in the conversation for too much longer. Right, I do need to be careful to just not get lazy and lackadaisical here, right? These halves can get away from you, even if you are the better team by a long stretch. Make sure you stay in touch and stay on top of what's going on. If you remember in the previous map, Scriv as well, right? FengDa got that one round on the board and then kind of fell away again immediately after, right? They can't afford to do that here, and they've already lost the opening pick to Summer. But it's a good answer back this time. That's better.
Little backflip there off the nade. Just about made it to him.
10 out of 10.
Yeah. I'd probably... Well, listen, the problem is with the rating, the 10 out of 10 Olympic rating system, you can't give a 10 because then, you know, it's perfect and nothing's perfect. I give it like a 9.2.
True, true.
Yeah, those are the rules though, man. I don't know if you ever see, oh god, what's his name? The Barstool Sports guy.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Slices. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a good point.
One bite, everybody knows. That's my favorite thing. One bite, everybody knows the rules, and then he eats the whole slice of pizza and then gives a rating. It's like he never does one bite and then gives a rating, you know. So he doesn't follow his own rule set.
Yeah.
A bit of a thread here, maybe. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. So kind of unfortunate. Again, FengDa, they've managed to get the one round, but they can't keep it up. And I think it is a bit too late to really feel like it's going to have any impact. 7-1, you need to hit 4 here, and they really haven't shown us in this series that they're able to string them together, honestly.
Yeah, that's the issue, unfortunately. Looking at it from the third-person POV there, there's a little bit of lag for them. Maybe they're obviously playing a bit higher ping, perhaps. Could be awkward that way. Another thing that's kind of holding them back, perhaps. Who knows? You have to see the scoreboard to know that. But yeah, I think Summer will once again get an opening. He's been very good with that so far. Opportunity for 8-1. Elite X9, otherwise known as Nerds, has not seen someone crossing connector. That's going to be very awkward. What is going on here? I think he knows what's going on, but he's got to find a way to get 3 kills. And now he's been found out. I don't think it's going to happen. He can't escape either. It's an absolute mess in connector. And PSP will try and answer back, but I don't think there's really much he can do about it. Spots Child King top mid, but there's another instant headshot from Mr. Child King. 13-3 for him, and more work completed for Rare Atom. Getting closer now.
Yeah, looking very, very good. I mean, if they can hit the double digits in the first half here, then again, I think they would start to think about wrapping this one up, to be honest. So, yeah, very, very difficult kind of run here for FengDa. Just never got themselves into this game. You know, a couple of moments, generally off the back of an individual finding a double or maybe a triple. Or maybe indeed an early opener. Oh my goodness, I thought it was the double spray down, but no, it was teammate assistance to get those kills in. Both of them taking an awful lot of damage for those. So, you know, Summer's free death, 100 HP to work with is not really what the Doctor ordered here. Rare Atom looking to scale up in towards this A-bomb site, but very, very, very hesitant, as you can see.
Yeah. Swap the AWP over to Child King as well. Somebody probably needs it most, but obviously he's not in position right now to take it. So Kaze will take the AK. 1 minute on the clock to try and get a plant somehow. It's a leg shot, actually, on to the Scout, but a really good headshot on toward Child King, and Kaze will not be able to deal with anything from ramp. So FengDa found their second here. Somebody's going to have to win a 1v3 on 2 HP. And while he has access to the bomb, anything else seems incredibly unlikely. Actually got a full belt of utility as well, incredibly, does somebody with what he's picked up. Well, he knows where one is, but unfortunately not able to complete it.
Yeah, actually kind of goes for it. I thought surely he'd be having a save, but I guess they do have plenty of cash. Try and take a gun away, make life more difficult for FengDa is, of course, the name of the game here, especially, again, while they're only on 2 rounds. So we'll see if the trend continues. Can Rare Atom just go back to their winning ways and, again, take this one on the chin? A little bit unlucky. Or are we going to see FengDa with just the nick of time get themselves up to 4 and maybe a serviceable first half?
Chen King, good push up top mid, manages to get Kaze, and actually somebody will go down as well. So it is a 4v3 for FengDa again. It's funny, there's someone on VP Prodigy, right? And it's funny I said it like this, but his alias is actually someone, right? So I've made the joke on a couple of occasions that what if we have VP Prodigy play against Rare Atom one day, and it's someone versus somebody. But unfortunately, I don't think that'll ever happen, mate.
No, there's a bit too much that needs to fall into place, you know. Is he a good player? Do you think he might make it into the big leagues?
He's all right, but yeah, I don't think he's necessarily on like anyone's radar. That's the problem.
Yeah. Maybe they remove electronic and bring this guy in. I'm just saying, that's just what the people think.
It's something, by the way, not someone. It's something. Apologies.
Well, there is potential. We've got somebody, something. We need a someone, somewhere. You know, sometime, maybe? That doesn't quite work.
It's okay, though.
Not sure. The fifth one, I'm not sure it would work out. FengDa are actually on track to win another round here, by the way. Looking good. Double swing, nice and clean. So here we are. They might just be able to get that 4th, you know.
Yeah, I just found it. He's currently benched on Forza's academy, which...
that's a yikes, man. That's a yikes, you know.
Which, of course,
no
Forza...
offense to the guy, but...
Forza don't even have a team in general, right? Let alone... They only have their academy, so... Yeah, he's 21. He's got a chance, bless him. Who knows? But...
yeah, that's pretty tough, though. If you're getting benched on the Forza academy, I don't know.
It's not going to happen, is it?
For you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somebody got a frag on something. Who? On what? On what? Okay, sorry. Child King will look to entry in toward ramp here, and actually it's going to be Elite X9 looking for the frags here. Getting flashed in by a teammate, and it's working out pretty nicely at the end of the half here for FengDa, getting a few rounds on the board. As I said, Ratum maybe getting a little bit lackadaisical at the end of the half. And they're letting FengDa back into the game a tiny bit. Summer managed to respond with one, but it's a 3v4. Thankfully, they've still got bomb control, but a chance for 4 here.
We shall have to see. Hanging out at the moment, Kaze with that bomb. Elite X9 going in for another push. It's certainly risky, and Kaze's peeking gets him perfect timing. Very well played. That reveals the bomb, but not necessarily that it's committed towards A, and the spread out rare atoms strategy has worked very well. This is 2 catches now they've managed to find, leaving both of the CT defenders fully isolated, right? So, yes, it's 3 versus 2, but in actuality, it's going to be more of a 3 versus 1, 2 versus 1 at the very least. Not quite sure what the plans are for somebody here. But we'll see. CT hold. Just keeping this AWP nice and safe. Try and deny the bomb plant, perhaps, but they've got a smoke down to plant inside of. Looking good. Looking very good indeed for Rare Atom. The spam does come close. So maybe a chance. It's the final round of the half, of course, so they will absolutely be moving in and going for this. I think it's somebody who's managed to creep in completely unseen that could make all the difference here, Trav.
Yeah, Kaze Firebox, 7 HP, really awkward. Kits available, that's a big factor here. And somebody in Connector, like you said, is not activated yet because he knows he's not in a position that is going to be found. He does significant damage, but it's Summer to take the kills for him at the end of the half. And Rare Atom creeping toward the finish line, of which they should get over after the break.
folks. A slightly better performance coming out from FengDa Gaming there in the first half, but whether it continues here, of course, is, I suppose, the question of the day and of the series. So it's going to be difficult. They were all right on the pistols, I suppose. Maybe if they get this over first rifle, you know, gap closes pretty quickly at the start of a half, so we'll see. They're going straight in for the A execute, no messing around. Nice little Molotov there, going to force Summer out. He was waiting for that flash. Didn't find too much success with it. Chow King also getting spammed down, so no kills back in. CT control technically lost, certainly is winnable, backable, so we're going to see. They're all in for this one, it would seem, on the CT side, and now the T side. So an absolute bloodbath on the cards. Well played here, though, from FengDa. They realize they've got an advantage, they've got good info, no need to overcommit, force them into us, and that seems to be working very, very well indeed. Just going to be 2 remaining, and big man Chow King's very, very low. Somebody is now 6 feet under, so this one is indeed over. So FengDa might just be able to give us a game, Trav.
You never know. You never know. As I said in the first half, one of the only maps where they've actually had very consistent success on. And good results against the teams they've played as well. It's not just like it's people they should be beating. It's all, quite a lot of it is a mixture of good teams they've played and beaten, like Tyloo, for example, and some other teams in the region domestically. So let's see what they've got. Of course, Ratum will decide to force, however, though. 4 MP9s and a scout in play. Let's see if they've got anything in the back pocket.
Yeah, I don't know, the heavy MP9s. This is very reminiscent. I think French G2 used to do this a lot. Maybe there's a reason for it. The mid collapse has absolutely devastated FengDa before I even really got the context and the words out. They're all dead. Not even a minute gone yet. The bomb has hit the deck. It's all going to be on 3G here, and he was kind of that lurking presence, hoping to catch a rotation, but goodness gracious, Rare Atom, you asked if they had something cooked up. The answer is absolutely yes, and it is roasting hot, man. Really, really clean stuff.
It's roasting hot in my room as well right now. Maybe it's time to open some windows.
Tell me about it.
It's hot in the UK for some reason. Recently, it's the classic sort of mini heat wave where we're going to reach like 26 degrees tomorrow or something, and it'll go back down to a max of 13 again. Literally half the temperature in a day. But as you say, once again, great work from Summer. It is getting toward that time of year, and he is fragging well. 14-9, chalking up to 16-8. That force spy working immediately, and that's so frustrating for FengDa. And they could have got themselves back in the half, maybe put them on an eco. We made it like 9-6 or something like that, but it's not to be, it seems.
Yeah, unfortunately not. I think that is the kind of disastrous position they find themselves in. Looking good here. Rare Atom getting ever closer, and just, you know, it's another day at the office for them, unfortunately, for FengDa. And I think that this is maybe the end of the road for this side. Again, a little bit similar to catching the Nomads yesterday. One of these teams that maybe have a good few individuals, maybe a bit mixy, but they're right on the breadth of, like, do we, you know, start taking it very, very seriously, really working on our game, or are we going to stick to playing a style that we enjoy, you know? And I think that they're maybe sticking to the more enjoyment side at the moment.
Yeah, possibly. Somebody, MP9, Glocks about to come his way. This should be pretty yummy, like an ice cream on a hot summer's day. There's one. Ah, there's only one. Not bad. Good little pounce there from FengDa, but Kaze realizes that they're going to be pretty squishy with only Glocks, so we'll go in for the Deagle instead. Should find one more. Will find one more. Someone will push forward. Might have to go to the USP, but it's fine because Kaze's Deagle is ready to help. 12-4, one away from a date with the Huns in that next round of that lower bracket.
Alrighty then. time to put your money where your mouth is, I suppose, and, well, indeed, do your best to stay alive. I think this is going to be a tough task for, well, any team, really. I think maybe an overused line of mine, but it's true. It's true, right? Very, very difficult to get back into a game like this.
I can tell you, by the way, in case people were wondering why we're not seeing the Huns versus Envision today, because the Huns did forfeit versus Envision due to their conflict with the event in Mongolia. They actually won map 2 versus Bait, so fair play to them.
Okay.
Bait won Inferno 13-10, but the Huns have won Mirage 13-9, and that's literally Bait's most ridiculous map, which is hilarious, right? Like, Bait have won... I had like a, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 maps on a row against like Astralis and Ents and Heroic and Betboo, and they've just lost to the Huns. Funny how things work, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, what kinds of things do we look at? What kinds of things do we blame? But Rare Atom looking to close this one out and get ready for that matchup. Oh, against the Huns, that's clean. That's super clean from Child King. Goodness me, it's all on Lee. He cannot fend off the Young King, and it will indeed be a clean 2-0 victory coming in from Rare Atom. No real work for them here today, and FengDa, yeah, just could not match up. So it will unfortunately be the end of the road for them in the playoffs here.